recorder. So I thought it was about time that we sent you a live letter. First, I want to thank you for the delicious box. Jerry, I listened to you this time, and I opened the box immediately. I wouldn't let Earl talk me out of it. Of course, he didn't try. I don't have to tell you that evening I had fried shoulder for supper. And I put the rest in the freezer. So you see, I have something to look forward to, at least 2 or 3 more meals out of the thing. And, of course, I will cook the hops, and I might just make some snits and nets, because in the box of stuff that Mary Jane sent for Christmas was a package of apple snits. How fortunate. The next day, of course, we had the smoked sausage for supper, and on Sunday morning we had the Panhas for breakfast, all of it being very delicious. We did get a box of goodies from Mary Jane for Christmas, and it included bologna from Sterner's and more smoked sausage, and of course, you know me, when the boxes come, I have to open them. And that evening, I had some smoked sausage as soon as it got there. We had a wonderful Christmas. We had Nellie and Al here, and Frank Henricks, and Helen Kachura, and Velma Kern, people that you do know Frank, but you don't know the women. And, of course, we all ate too much. We ate from 1 to 3. And I wanted to steal something from you by playing the tape recorder while everybody was at the table. And I guess when the table got full of food, we all got over anxious, and I forgot to turn the damn thing on. So after it was over, I turned it on, and then we got some of the BS that flies around the table while you're sitting there relaxing, waiting for another inch of room so you can have another nibble of cold turkey or something. Now, this was from 1 to 3. Your father has gone on a strict diet. At 7:30, because it was time to eat, we got out the cold turkey and some bologna and cookies and cake and piece of mince pie. And by the way, I made some of my own mincemeat this year. And, of course, everybody at the table didn't want a thing to eat. Well, it's a damn good thing they didn't, because they sure as the world cleaned off that table. Now, we were just as full as we were at 3 o'clock. And I said to somebody, I'll bet you a nickel that Earl is going to want something to eat before he goes to bed. We played cards till 1 o'clock. When the gang all left, I made myself a cup of hot coffee, and Earl said, I could eat something. And do you know that he would have eaten cereal if we wouldn't have used all the milk during the day? So he did settle for a grapefruit at 1:30 Christmas night. The day after Christmas, down here, everything at the shopping centers that was on display for Christmas, like balls and tree lights and decorations and all this crap, is on sale for half price. So yesterday we went up to the shopping center. Well, there must have been one terrible barrage of buying before Christmas, because we went to every store, and the only tree balls that we could find were 2 boxes, one of gold and one of silver. I had to settle for one of gold, because the rest of the bulbs I have on my tree are all beautiful colors, so the gold will blend in nice. We looked for tinsel, and the only tinsel that we could find in 8 stores was a bolt of 50 yards of tinsel. Now, I have a 4-foot tree, and I don't know what in the hell I would do with 50 yards of tinsel on a 4-foot tree. There was such a mob of bargain hunters there that we could hardly find a place to park.
I was looking around in Woolworth store before Christmas, and I saw among their electric HO gauge train sets a freight train, in which was included 1 car marked Western Maryland. Why, you know, it was a coal hopper and painted red, but other than that, the insignia, the letters, and the stripes beyond the letters at both ends were exactly similar to their cars on the railroad.
Earl has been looking at train sets for 20 years. I wanted to buy him one long ago, but his excuse was just like the one he always gave me when I asked him to buy a new suit. He would always say, "Well, I won't outlive this one suit at a time." That's his excuse for this damn train thing all the time. Just think, he could have had 20 years of fun running trains. I swear, if he don't soon go buy himself one, I'm going to. Ruth, I must tell you about my pickles. They had cucumbers on sale, 5 cents a piece down here, and it only takes 15 for 8 pounds. So I sent Earl up, and we got them, and I made up a batch of those delicious pickles. I took a pint jar next door so they could taste them, and the lady is 85 years old who lives over here, and she has an 87-year-old sister. And, of course, their nephew lives with the one. And she said, "Oh, they taste just like candy." Now, I went over about 15 minutes later. They were playing cards the first time I got there. And when I got back, the empty jar was sitting on the counter. They thought they were so delicious that they decided to get pickles, and the following week, I made a batch of pickles for them. Now, this makes 11 pints, and I'm quite sure I'm not even going to have 1 pint left to bring along north. But I'm sure as the world going to make some more of them. They are delicious. When I was up north this summer, I had 40 violets, and this same lady took care of them. Now, she doesn't know anything about flowers, and she came in every Wednesday and every Saturday and watered them. And she didn't give them a little bit of water. She filled the dishes up that they were sitting in. Well, I don't have to tell you, they were all rotted off at the ground. I have 2 left out of the 40, all the rest drowned. But I did bring 14 along that Marie had given me small plants of that I had there on the windowsill above the sink. They even went through the flood, which I think might have done them some good because they grew like they were crazy. Now I have enormous plants, and they are all completely covered with flowers, and they are gorgeous. Even the red one that I gave you a little cutting off of has buds on. I thought sure it would be open for Christmas, but it sort of failed me. But in a day or so, they will be open. I had a Christmas cactus bloom, and it had over 50 flowers on it, and it was a picture. In fact, the man next door took a couple pictures of it. I tried to, but my camera wouldn't work with the flash, so I was left out. We had a cold night, even though we had 86-degree temperature for several days in a row, in the hottest spot in the nation. I guess maybe you heard on television. Along came a terrific thunderstorm on Friday night, and it cooled off, and the flowers all fell off of my cactus. Even though we expected this cooling trend because we had been warned by the weatherman, Earl put snap clothespins on the drapes so air wouldn't even get in at the cracks, and it was still too cold for the cactus. They won't stand any cold. Now it is still full of little tiny buds, but because of the cool nights, 50 degrees, they will not open. They like something hotter than that. We've been real busy since we're home. I joined the chorus this year, and of course we had a rehearsal every Monday morning, and we put on 3 concerts over Christmas, and that meant extra special rehearsals before each one of those. And I'm still knitting or crocheting. I am finishing my 5th afghan. I made mittens and caps and some more caps, and I don't know what in the hell to make next, but I have to keep working. Besides that, there's card playing and bingos, and Frank, whom you met, the big man that was at your place in 1963, is living alone, and his hearing is very, very bad. And last week, he went away, and he had flushed his commode before he left, and he didn't hear that it was still running. And 4 hours later, he came home, and when he opened his Florida room door, the water met him at the door. Now, his entire house of 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, living room, kitchen, dining room, and Florida room were underwater, about 2 inches. That was one hell of a mess. So Earl and this Helen Couture, a friend of ours, and I went down, and we had to have men come and pull out the rugs, and this left water that was swept out with mops and brooms, which reminded me of the flood we went through this summer, except there wasn't any mud this time. And we had to mop up all of these rooms and get things up that were sitting down in the closet, like shoes and cartons and things like you put in a closet. They were all soaking wet. We had one hell of a mess with that. But anyway, through the whole thing, his house was so damp, and he had to have the current off for a while until the floors partly dried out, and he has caught one hell of a cold. And it didn't help my arthritis either. I suffered quite a bit from that because, again, I used muscles that I didn't know I had. It'll be about 3 weeks before his rugs are dried and cleaned, and when they come back, of course, the poor soul needs help to get them back in. He, after all, is 81 years old and all alone, and help is damn hard to get just for a short time. Anybody who wants to work regularly. Hope the entire family are okay and happy, and hope you've had a wonderful Christmas. Give our love to Dick and Laura and the kids, Phil and Penny and Becky, Dave and Darlene, Marge, Jeff, Andy, and Lil. We think of all of you often. Had a phone call on Saturday night from Bob and Ann. Everyone was home and everyone well. It certainly is nice to hear voices either on tape or telephone. Had a phone call on Sunday from Dunny, and he tried, this was Christmas, I'm sorry, on Christmas from Dunny, and he tried all day long to get through and couldn't make it till 9:30 in the evening. I guess everyone down here is calling everyone up there and vice versa. The trunk line is pretty heavy on Christmas. Bob and Ann asked how everybody was at your house, and Mem's and Jane's and Donnie's. It seems they figure this is the center of communications. We hear you're having some very miserable rainy weather. We have sunshine most every day. Now and then it's partly cloudy, but maybe we could trade with you a little while because we seem to be having a water shortage down here. We could sure use it. Earl got me a new Christmas tree this year. It is green and artificial, about 4 feet high. I had the aluminum ones up until this time. Now I have these little twinkle lights on it and balls, and it is very pretty. I tried to take some snapshot pictures with flash bulbs of our house and the house down the street from us that is over-decorated, just to show you people how many people and what they do for Christmas decorations. I don't know how they will turn out. I'm hoping they'll be okay. Guess you folks are thinking about getting ready for butchering. I sure will be with you in spirit that day. That's one day I hate to miss. On the card Dave sent us, he said about your new kitchen was so homey. I guess that's going to be a nice, warm place to go when you're butchering. Will you please tell Margie that a reason we didn't send her a Christmas card was the fact that we didn't have her address, but we were thinking about her anyway. I have been having some trouble with my throat. It's been hurting me ever since Christmas. The day after Christmas, I ate a cold turkey leg, and I believe I must have swallowed part of one of those long, thin bones, because it doesn't feel like a sore throat. It feels more like it has been cut. I have been gargling, but it's hard to get the gargle down as far as it hurts. But it is feeling better today, so I guess it was a scratch, and it is healing. I just played this tape over, and I found out that Earl, not knowing too much about the tape recorder, the other night while I was away, was playing with it. And he rubbed out some of the things that I had said. So I tried to fill it in. If you find any repeats or anything cut off, it's because of this. Better luck next time. Ha ha. Even though I think I'm quite a talker, I never knew you had to talk so damn much to fill up a 30-minute tape. It seems like the more I talk, the more tape I have yet to fill. I sent one to Dunny, and he's trying to fill one to send to me, and it takes a couple of weeks talking. We have decided that from now on we're going to get 15-minute tapes. Well, I did try one of those, sending it off to Dunny, and here I find myself talking on and on and on, and the tape had already run out. So I guess I can't win. Here we are, January the 9th, 1973, a brand new year. Well, I'm sure glad the holidays are over. Now maybe I'll know what day of the week it is and where I stand. My throat is okay now. I don't feel a thing, so it must have been a bone scratch. I went to rehearsal yesterday for morning and to sing for the spring concert, so you know my throat isn't hurting too much. On January the 2nd, Mr. and Mrs. Jim Martin, that's Ann Krebs's parents, and her brother and his wife, who are staying 6 months in Pompano Beach, visited with us. The Martins had been down there for 4 weeks and were leaving on Thursday for Chicago. We had a grand visit with them. First time they had ever been to our house, even though they have been to Florida to visit with her brother several times. Had a phone call from Mim on New Year's Eve, and she said something about they were going to butcher this past Sunday, and that you and Ruth, were going to be over to help them. So I guess you had quite a day. I'm damn sorry I missed it. I sure would like to be around somebody sometime when they butcher, just to get all them old goodies out of kettle.
Hello there. I wish I could have been at the butchery also. That's one of the things I remember as of old, when we used to do that at home on Church Street. We have heard that your kitchen that you fixed up is very nice, and for that reason, we are getting anxious to see it. And believe it or not, we'll look it over from end to end. We expect to go to Albert's at West Palm Beach during this week. We don't know yet whether we'll make it. We have it in mind. We'll know more later. When we spend this next summer at East Berlin Cottage, we hope we can get through that without a flood. We also have been advised by the insurance man that our fire insurance is going to be higher in the future. So there you go. Don't worry too much about what you hear on the tape, as you have heard previously, that I have been practicing and trying to learn how to operate this damn cassette. Yours truly.
Believe it or not, Ruth, today I am baking Morton's frozen bread. It sure don't hold a candle to what you make, but it's a real good substitute. I'll never learn to bake bread like you do, and I sure do get hungry for some of those good crusts with butter and molasses on. We were both feeling pretty good. Earl goes over and plays shuffleboard every now and then in the afternoon. I don't think he'll be going today because there's a cold front going down through, and got a little bit chilly in bed this morning with all the windows open. And, of course, now they're all closed, and with the oven going to be on, it'll sort of warm it up a little bit. But the breeze is blowing pretty hard, and today we have no sunshine yet. With my hands the way they are, I made up my mind that I couldn't do too much writing anymore, so I decided to send tapes instead. Then I find out that Bob, Mim, you, and Donnie all have cassettes. So you'll have to consider each one of these tapes as several letters, because it takes a damn long to get one full. My hands are getting more crooked all the time. With each pains they get crooked and large knuckles and all, and therefore writing goes a little hard for me. I'm still knitting, though, and I'm being thankful that I can still use them at all. I had to have my wedding ring and my diamond cut off of my left hand, and now I am waiting for the indentation of the rings to fill out a little bit before I can have them made to fit the hand. So right now, if you look at my left hand, I'm a single girl. Ha-ha. It seems everyone likes the tapes a whole lot better because they can hear your voice, which is something like a phone call. Of course, I haven't sent any to Mim and Bob yet, and Mim wanted to know if she was an orphan. So now, after I've gotten yours filled up, I have to send one off to each of them. And in the meantime, Donnie's waiting for an answer to the one that I got from him. So that's the way it goes. Now, I'm busier sending tapes than I was writing letters.
I was glad to... No, wait a minute. Please excuse what I just said. What I wanted to say is last week on January 2nd, our TV that we had been using for about 6 years went on the blink, and it cost $50-some to have the part replaced and installed. So we settled for a new Motorola cabinet, which is very nice and doing well up to now. Of course, it is new. All brooms sweep clean when they are new. The county resurfaced all of our local streets about 10 days before Christmas. They now look very nice and even and are swell to drive on. Last week we had robins visiting here with us. I mean birds when I say robins, and they really took advantage of our lawn and our bird bath. This must be a sure sign that spring is coming. Don't you think so? Our time is very much taken up between card games here at home and with friends, playing shuffleboard, and playing bingo. Hooray.
When Earl hesitated a while ago on the tape, the damn clock was just about to begin to strike 11. And who wants to just sit and listen to a clock strike 11? Now, your chimes are different. It seems there is always a plane, a lawnmower, or a clock somewhere in the offing when I do a little taping. I'm only now waiting for the phone to ring, which is bound to happen one of these times. Ruth, I made a chili sauce last week. It is delicious and easy to make. If you would care about it, here is the recipe. 3 large ripe tomatoes, 6 onions, 6 apples, 2 green and 2 red peppers, 2 cups of celery. Chop all of this fine. 1 tablespoon of salt, 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of cloves, 1 1/2 cup of vinegar, 1 1/2 cup of sugar. Pour this all over the chopped stuff and cook slowly till it's thick. It takes about an hour. Stir it often and then can it. It makes about 3 3/4 or 4 pints. It is delicious with meats, fried potatoes, pot pie, spaghetti, even on hot dogs and other sandwiches. I send my love to all, and hello, Lil. Hope you and everyone else up there are feeling okay. We are, And I hope you all have a wonderful year.
We're still working on the box of goodies that you sent along with the Weavers. And boy, how that does stretch out. Of course, we have enough candy around here to last till Easter, I believe. So long until I think of something else.
I know this tape is not quite full, but I want to get it off to you, or you'll be listening to last year's news, and it'll be a year old. Give our love to all the children. You know, all the ones that are home and all the ones that are not at home anymore. And I hope all of you stay well and have the best of everything the entire year. God bless you all. Love, Grandma Mary, or just plain Mary.
Happy New Year to all of the Krebs family, including Jerry, wife, children, and Lillian McCoy. Mary says, now I'm done. So long. Good Happy New Year.
Hello, this is Andy. We were ice skating since last Monday till today, Saturday. It's been up in the 34, and we're afraid that we're not going to have much ice left this week. Thank you for the Christmas money, and there's I was in a band concert at New Oxford, and I played the bass drum. The names of the songs were Santa's Holiday, Holly Wreath Medley. The other one I can't think of right now. And Mr. Clone calls me Boom Boom because I play the bass drum. So I told him I'm not going to be playing the bass drum after Christmas because I'm going back to the snare drum. When we butchered down at Hayden Sunday, I took 3 ears and a tail. I'm going to try to preserve them, so, for good luck. And I got all kinds of neat stuff for Christmas. I got a hockey stick and 22 bullets, 2 shirts, a tie, underwear, like usual. Oh wow, I can't even think of anything. Oh, a hi-hat. The 2 cymbals that go together that you have a foot pedal made for a trap set. And, well, Happy New Year, and there's nothing else I can think of right now. Hello again. I wanted to tell you that this last autumn, that about 10 kids from the junior band, New Oxford, and myself got together and walked in the Halloween parade at New Oxford. And if you're familiar with the song Fort Bragg, and I just wanted to tell you that too. Today is the 15th, and it is 44 out. And we were ice skating today, but we're afraid that we'll finish ice skating for the year. And I know what you mean when you say it takes a long time to fill it, because we only got about 10 feet on here already. It takes a lot.
Just in case you didn't know what that noise was, that was me taking the lids off the cook stove and doing the riddling and getting things ready to put a little bit more wood in to burn. It's been a long time since you heard that sound, so I just didn't know for sure whether you'd be able to tell what it was, so I thought I'd let you in on it. Now, since Andy was talking about dates, and being the 15th, he was talking about the 15th of January. Now this is March the 3rd, and every day, practically, or periodically, since receiving this tape of yours, Bruce and I have been talking about we got to get that tape sent down there, and then of course, pardon me, about the time that we think we're going to do it, there's another board to saw and another nail to nail and another piece of ceiling tile to put up and yak, so we didn't get it done. So this afternoon, I thought I'd get this tape out and replay it and see what you people had to say and start off the other side, and then that's when I found out that Andy had started off the other side. I'm going to tell you some things and make some comments, and then I'll shut off, and then when Ruth gets back, why, I'll let her continue on and talk about what she wants to talk about. This kitchen project is finished as far as the major construction is concerned, and we had moved into it and had Thanksgiving dinner here, and some of the Thanksgiving dinner was even cooked on the kitchen range, such as heating the gravy, and little odds and ends like that. The turkey, of course, was done in the gas stove, and we have a pretty nice sized room here, as you can well imagine from your knowledge of the building. We don't have the place completely cleaned up. We've got, by that I mean we have some pieces sitting around that we don't know what to do with yet, and we have pieces that, those pieces will be taken out and put somewhere else, and then there's other pieces that we want to move in. We're hanging things on the wall, different things for decoration, and
So